Family's everything. But my kids, to my children, I'm nobody. But that night they're gonna find out their father's very special.
Mike Tyson has shocked fans by opening up about his boxing future. After his last fight, he seemed certain he was done, saying he couldn't keep up with younger fighters anymore. Fast forward to today, and he's singing a different tune. Rumor has it, a staggering $700 million offer for a rematch might have changed his mind. Could Iron Mike be gearing up for one last round?
His Excellency Turkey Al-Sheikh, he wants to see the rematch between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, and he's now offering Mike Tyson $700 million.
If Mike Tyson is already getting paid for looking tired in the ring, why not cash in by knocking out Jake Paul for some extra money? The real answer to Tyson's career might be unfolding right now, so stay tuned or risk missing out on the juiciest updates. That said, half the boxing world couldn't care less about Tyson these days. And honestly, they've got their reasons. The whole Jake Paul fight had people talking, but not for the expected reasons. Could this be Tyson's way back into the spotlight? If Mike Tyson is already getting paid for looking tired in the ring, why not cash in by knocking out Jake Paul for some extra money? The real answer to Tyson's career might be unfolding right now, so stay tuned or risk missing out on the juiciest updates. That said, half the boxing world couldn't care less about Tyson these days. And honestly, they've got their reasons. The whole Jake Paul fight had people talking, but not for the expected reasons. Could this be Tyson's way back into the spotlight? They could be this big spectacle of a legendary fighter stepping into the ring with a YouTube star. But instead, it felt more like a clumsy cash grab from the moment. The bell rang fans were like, wait, what is this Tyson? A man who was once feared for his brutal knockout power looked more like he was fighting through molasses. He was so sluggish it had everyone screaming this is rigged. He didn't even seem remotely interested in landing the knockout punch that everyone was waiting for. So, was he holding back? Or did he just not care anymore? And the whole exhibition thing was the perfect excuse to collect a check.
Funny because you know what's so shitty is like we've been doing...
Mike.
My mic
Is shitty.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, no, keep going.
Let's be real. Tyson didn't need to hold back. In his prime, he could have knocked Jake out in the first round with his eyes closed.
I'm not gonna mention no more.
Yet
There was
here
a fight
he
that I had with
dragging
an
out a
opponent that
fight
knows
that
to fight
felt
me
more
and the
like a
referee.
casual sparring session than
No.
a serious
It's
bout.
fights like that. That's just how
Instead
they
of
went.
proving
You know,
he still had
people
it,
are bent odd.
Tyson turned
They got a
what could
hold
have
of the
been an
referee. They
epic
fight me and the
showdown
referee. God,
into
I
a
don't know. The
lackluster
guy don't even know.
performance
Did I
that
find
left
out later
fans
what's
bored
going
and
on?
disappointed. The whole spectacle was more about making money than preserving the sport or Tyson's reputation. Sure, his legacy took a hit, but the cash kept rolling in. Fans were left questioning whether this was truly the same Tyson who once struck fear in the hearts of opponents, or just another washed-up legend cashing in on nostalgia. And then there's Jake Paul, the guy who built his career on drama rather than actual boxing talent. Watching him in the ring with Tyson felt less like a fight and more like a circus act. Jake isn't in it for the love of the sport. He's there to rack up followers, get clicks, and stay relevant. Tyson, he was just another pawn in Jake's game to stay in the headlines. The whole thing was an elaborate stunt to keep both names buzzing in the media.
Obviously, the first two fights that I saw were great, and then the Mike Tyson would happen, and I was hoping that he would punch him once and then knock that stupid idiot Paul brother out. And now I'm watching all these videos and his speech that he gave at the end, where he's like, I knew I didn't have the guts, I knew I couldn't do it, but I'm just doing this to pay my bills for my family.
They called it a sideshow, not a real fight, and honestly, Tyson played right along. Instead of proving he still had that legendary knockout power, he helped Jake Paul maintain the illusion of being a legit fighter. It makes you wonder, did Tyson get so comfortable with the paycheck that he forgot what made him a legend in the first place? Looking back, Tyson's official boxing career didn't end the moment he stepped into the ring with Jake Paul. In reality, his career ended long before that exhibition match. He'd been talking about retirement for years, and his passion for boxing had long faded. Tyson wasn't there for the love of the sport. He was just cashing in on nostalgia. And when the money's right, who's going to walk away?
Tyson biting his glove. The reason he was doing this was to remind himself not to throw punches and let Jake control the pace.
Tyson's retirement speech was dripping with irony. He spoke about ending his career as if it were a noble, historic moment. Yet here he is, crawling back for a comeback to fight Jake Paul, something nobody asked for. This whole final fight narrative, just a clever marketing ploy to capitalize on the last bit of hype and cash. Tyson claimed this was it, but deep down, we all knew it was just another payday dressed up in sentimental nonsense. The real kicker, though, is that Tyson's career had already ended years before the Jake Paul showdown. That fight was nothing more than a sideshow, a setup for a bigger payday. His legacy, once legendary, had been slowly fading, and instead of preserving it, Tyson made questionable decisions that made us wonder if he'd forgotten what truly made him great.
Landing some big shots and knocking Jake around the ring. But that changed when Paul clinched with Tyson. It's alleged he whispered into Tyson's ear to cool it, and the message was confirmed received by Tyson with the affirming tap on the back. After that moment, Tyson became a stick in.
Let's be real. Tyson didn't end his career with the Jake Paul fight. It had been over long before that. Now, it's all about clinging to that legacy while cashing in on whatever's left. But here's the kicker. Tyson turned down a $700 million rematch with Jake Paul. Yeah, you heard that right. A man who once made opponents tremble just by stepping into the ring now claims he's expired and doesn't need a cash infusion that could pay off entire countries. Let's break this down. There's no way turning down that kind of money was a smart decision.
Clear that this fight was rigged. I could be wrong. I can't even say that because in my gut, I don't feel like I am.
Now, His Excellency Turkey al-Sheikh, he wants to see the rematch between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, and he's now offering Mike Tyson $700 million.
Here's the thing. Tyson, still in better shape than most people half his age, decided to pass up a payday that could buy him a yacht, a private island, and a lifetime supply of whatever weird exotic pet he's into these days. We're talking $700 million, a number so absurd it sounds like a typo. Yet instead of walking into the ring, collecting his money, and riding off into the sunset, Tyson just said, "Nah, I'm good." He claims his boxing career is over, but let's be honest, that's not what he really means. If Tyson were truly expired, he'd be lounging on a beach, sipping pina coladas, not hitting the gym and training like he's about to face a real challenger. Tyson didn't turn down the fight because he's past his prime. It's something else.
At any point, did you start to take your foot off the gas just a little bit because you noticed he was tiring out?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a bit. You know, I wanted to give the fans a show.
Tyson didn't refuse the rematch with Jake Paul because he's done with the sport. He didn't want to risk losing to a guy famous for memes and running a YouTube channel. Tyson claims he's retiring, but let's not kid ourselves. This isn't some deep, philosophical decision where he's turning into a monk. If he truly cared about family and health, he wouldn't have stepped into the ring with Roy Jones Jr. for that sad excuse of a fight. The real reason Tyson is refusing the rematch with Paul is fear of the embarrassment. A loss wouldn't just be a minor setback, it would be a disaster for his brand. Tyson's too proud to risk being remembered as the boxer who lost to a YouTuber. His retirement is simply a cover for his fear of failure 11. Let's talk about the money. Tyson could have made more in one fight than most people will earn in their entire lifetimes. Yet he walked away from the largest payday in boxing history. Why? Because it's about more than money. It's about preserving his image. Tyson's carefully constructed legacy as the most feared man on the planet is at risk. Losing to Jake Paul would have turned him into a punchline in viral memes, and Tyson knew that. Sure, he made millions in his exhibitions, but this time, the stakes were too high. He wasn't willing to risk his entire legacy just for one last paycheck.
When he was the champ, it was like people don't understand what a champ he was. Like he wasn't just the heavyweight champ of the world, he was an executioner.
Here's the kicker. Even though Tyson turned down the rematch with Jake Paul, he's still in the business of making money. So don't buy into the family first excuse. Tyson's not quitting the limelight. He's just figured out how to keep the money flowing without stepping into a ring where someone could land a punch on him. He's playing the long game now, making money through brand deals, interviews, and public appearances. It's smarter than throwing a punch. Why risk getting hit for a few million when you can keep raking in cash without risking your face? Tyson's refusal isn't about health. He's in better shape than most people half his age. It's not that he's too old. It's that he's too proud to risk another humiliating loss. The truth is, Tyson's not walking away because he's tired. He's walking away because he knows that after all this time, a loss to Jake Paul would mean the end of his legacy. Instead of getting into the ring for one last payday, he's opting for the safer route, preserving his image and ensuring he's remembered as the ferocious fighter who never got knocked out by a YouTuber. In the end, Tyson's family-first narrative is just the cherry on top of a carefully crafted excuse. It's the perfect smokescreen for a man who doesn't want to risk becoming the punchline of a bad joke. Tyson's playing a smarter game, keeping his legacy intact while securing a steady stream of income without stepping back into the ring.